Okay, you all right, Johnny?
I'm good, or I need to go somewhere else in my house. I got a multi-million-dollar penthouse. I'm kidding.
Uh, uh, it must have been this weekend must have been big for you, innit?
Super big, but I'm man, I got a full-time job, man. I went right back to work, you know what I'm saying?
Humble, innit? Stay humble. Well, hopefully,
Nah, I don't plan on staying home. Hey, look, I don't plan on staying home, but I plan on
hopefully you get bigger fights and you can get something going after this big upset.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I'll get big fights. You know how it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Am I gonna
Mm.
rush it? Yeah, I'm gonna try to rush it. I mean, nah, you gotta live life for real. You know what I'm saying? You gotta rise to the occasions. You know what I mean? You be
Mm.
grateful, and you able to get in there and fight. So let's fight the big fight.
So, come, let's start with the questions. This weekend, you scored an upset win over Michael Coffie. What motivated you to pull this off?
Just trying to prove myself. Every man has an ego, and it's like I'm tired of people counting me out, but I'm also tired of counting myself out. You know what I mean? I'm also even tired of giving people the audacity to count me out. When you look at me, you should think, hey, he gonna win. No one count the great fighters out because they prove themselves. Even when Muhammad Ali was a 6-1 underdog against Sonny Liston, he never felt that way one bit. Everyone else thought he was crazy. So it's time for people to start thinking I'm crazy because I'm done counting myself out, no matter what they think.
I hear you. And before the Coffee fight, you had two tough outings against Dempsey McKean and Ife Ajaba. Did you take anything from them fights that helped you beat Coffee?
Of course. Even with the Dempsey McCain fight, I feel like I should have been in better shape. Should have had a better mindset. Like, hey, yeah, we're coming to win. Still, like, sometimes during training, I was, pretty down on myself. You know what I mean? You kind of feel a little depressed about the situation and how, this guy's 19 old. He's, got the whole country on him, and I got nothing. You get a little down on yourself. Your mindset should be, hey, just more for me to conquer. And then, of course, I learned that, yeah, you can win, man. You can win. You got to give yourself, you got to push yourself more. You got to give a little more. With the Effie and Jocko fight, I can honestly say that I was a little inside my head, a little psyched out. How everyone made him look like this, great, amazing. What I think he's a Nigerian nightmare. Yeah, he definitely gave me nightmares. But it's like, that's for regular people to get spooked by that. You got to push yourself to another level to where you're not regular anymore, to where you're like, hey, I'm in this ring here to win. So the biggest things I took from those fights was, you got to dig deeper. You got to dig deeper. You got to push yourself harder, and that's what I did with the Michael Coffey fight, start to finish.
Now you're 11th ranked of the WBA.
That's
Who do you want
crazy, man. I'm
next?
like, what the hell? Well, it's like I said, I've gotten some fight offers, but I'm still the same me. I mean, I want big money fights, and I'm going to perform. I want the big money fights. I'm going to live up to the amount of money they're paying me. I'm going to make sure I'm worth it, and I'm going to make sure I put on the show. So for me, I'm going to follow the money.
Do you see a run towards a belt in your future?
Absolutely. I'm not boxing unless I have that mindset to be world champion. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm used to people counting me out. I don't care about that, but it's time for people to count me in. I've come for those belts. I'm going, follow the blueprint set by other guys. Like I said, like looking at Joe Joyce, as well as everyone knows I love Mike Hunter. And it's like, okay, I've tried Joe before. I see what he does. Time maybe I got to do what he did. There's a blueprint to success, and you got to depend on how to make so. So that's all I really say about that. I'm coming for a talk.
So, is there anything that changed in your life, in your camp, that helped you spring this upset?
I mean, I really started, for more. I feel like the biggest thing in my camp was, I was around Ben Haney. Devin Haney would let me come in and just watch him doing this training session. It was usually a private closed session, but for whatever reason, just let me come in and watch him. So I was just seeing his mentality, especially, training with, Floyd Sr. for a while when he was young, and just kind of grown up with, you know what I mean? Just still watch how he still takes the time to jump for 30 minutes. Sometimes I come to the gym, I jumped rope today. He'll jump for 30 minutes. He'll battle box for a long time. He'll do all things to keep him better, which is the fundamental stuff. And I'm like, man, wow, like this dude, like really, like, man, he trains, like he's still starting box, like just dotting the I's, crossing the T's. So that's the big thing, kind of opening and also trying to do it myself and following what I see other people are already great doing. You know what I mean? That's one thing I was wrong, watching the preparation of champions, as well as going to Philip Hrgovic's camp. I went to Philip Hrgovic camp in Miami after the Effie and Jocko fight. So I got to really watch how I train, his mentality. And I realized I had to change my mentality and change my intensity of training, based on what I was seeing.
Have you sparred Philip Hrgovic?
Yeah, it was not fun. It was not fun at all, man. All I learned was I could take more of a beating than I thought. And I ain't doing that though. I ain't taking no beating. I ain't letting nobody move me no more. But I definitely learned one thing. I could take a beating.
Well, if you can take a beating from him, you can take a beating from anyone.
Yeah, right. He definitely. Yeah, it was not a fun 3 weeks. I tell you that.
So right now, what would be your dream fight in general of all time? Right now, what would be your dream fight?
I mean, obviously, somehow I fight for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Undisputed, I need all those belts. But obviously, I know there's going to be an undisputed champion soon. Who it's going to be, I have no clue. But that's my dream fight, to just have the time to completely train super hard, no excuses, around the clock, and fight for an undisputed heavyweight title. So where it's just like, man, bring the best out of me. Because like what you saw on Saturday against Coffie was nowhere near how good I believe I can be. Just to let you know, it was a glimpse. It's nowhere near how good I believe I can be. So that's my job, to prove to myself and show how great I can be.
Coming up in September is Joshua versus Usyk. Do you have any winner in mind who you think will win that fight?
I mean, really, it's going to be whoever's the most perfect. Obviously, Joshua does have the edge with his size and his ferociousness, but Usyk obviously is extremely fast, very powerful for his size, and very intelligent. And like I said, he ain't never lose. So you got that working for Usyk. So for me, it's really about who comes and just have a perfect night. You know what I mean? But Usyk, obviously, based on his past 2 heavyweight fights, got a lot of improvement to do. And I know that he's going to do it, because that's, I've worked with him before. So I know his mentality is, I'm going to do whatever it takes. No questions asked. Obviously, Anthony Joshua is, an incredible fighter as well. And he's, on a mission for the undisputed title, just like Usyk is. So it just really comes down to that night. Who's going to be perfect? Who's going to execute? I'm literally a fan of both of them. But like I said, I've met Usyk personally and trained with him, so I'm a little more biased towards him.
Okay. So also, let's go to another heavyweight champion. Fury is fighting Deontay Wilder for a 3rd time. Do you think Deontay Wilder has a chance in that fight?
100%. 100%. He is working with a trainer in Malik Scott, who I feel like really is a boxing genius. He's helped me a little bit when I was, training, sparring with Joe Joyce, and just some of the small, subtle things he was telling me just really advanced me so much more in those rounds with Joe Joyce. You know what I'm saying? I just wish I'd have stayed a little more consistent. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? It's going to take more to go against Joe Joyce and some subtle things, but still, just to hear the brilliance that Malik Scott possesses. If Deontay Wilder, who has a lot more time now to work with him, can absorb that, which I believe he will, it's going to be an incredible fight 3. It's going to be an incredible fight 3, and now they got even more time. But also Malik Scott has always been behind the scenes in Deontay Wilder's camp. He's always been there with Deontay. Just now he has a bigger role. So I definitely look forward to the fight number 3, because fight number 2 was devastating, devastating for me to watch.
So you just mentioned you've sparred Joe Joyce in the past as well.
Yeah,
How would you
I sparred.
how would you rate that experience as well compared to Hrgovic? Because obviously you've been in there with them two now. So
Ooh, I never thought about that. Oh man, honestly, they both throw a lot of punches. They both throw a lot of punches. I do feel like Joe Joyce puts more pressure on you. I could say that. So I could say, let's say their work rate tends to be about the same, in my honest opinion. They both throw a lot of punches, a lot of combinations, very, very balanced. But Joe Joyce makes you feel the pressure a whole lot more. I can say that. You know, punch count, both high. Work rate, both high. But yeah, Joe Joyce put the pressure on you a little better than Hrgovic does.
now we've spoke about real boxing matches. Now let's go to Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul. How do you
Mm.
feel it is for the sport, and who do you have in that fight?
I mean, like I said, it's boxing. So as long as you're following those rules of boxing and you're getting eyes on the sport, I'm excited for a boxing event. I was even happy when Chad Ochocinco got in the boxing ring. Obviously, I was not really a fan of Lamar Odom fighting Aaron Carter because of the size difference. I just want you to, obviously, you got Mayweather fighting Logan Paul, but Mayweather is like extremely experienced, so it don't really matter about the size for him in that instance. But he's special; it's a special case. But if you're the same size as another man, you're following the boxing rules and regulations. I'm all for it, especially if you got a big name. Now with the Jake Paul situation, this kid trains his ass off all the time. Like I've watched him go to Big Bear. I've watched him, work with the best trainers like Jay Leon Love, B Flores. So he takes it extremely serious, which is why I have to respect him because he's not making a mockery of the sport. He may do his antics like take Floyd Mayweather hat, but who don't do that to sell a fight? But when it comes down to the training and the performance, he's incredible. And of course, Woodley is a champion himself in MMA. So I'm looking to watch it. I'm excited. Who I think is gonna win? I don't know about that one. I don't know, but I just know they both work extremely hard, and that's all you can ask for. And I think Woodley's actually working with Philip Hrgovic's coach, Dr. Pedro. So, man, I'll pay for that fight.
So when are you looking to return to the ring? Obviously, you just fought last week, so maybe you may not have a time. You may be resting, but do you have any idea when you want to get back in there?
Uh, like I said, the money's gonna motivate me to move a little faster, but I'm kind of looking at November because like I said, I want all eyes on me. And the reason I say November because you got Thanksgiving here in the USA, and I want everybody at home, being fat, watching me fight. So maybe November. I mean, you're definitely gonna see me lose about 20 more pounds. I want to move even faster. I want to be even stronger. So that's my new goal. Just putting that out there. I weighed in at 268. I feel like I was definitely 10 pounds overweight. So let's not say 20. Let's say I lose like 15 and kind of come in there, in the low 250s. That's my plan for my fitness goal, y'all. Y'all know I set goals and I reach them. So hopefully November, while everybody's eating those turkeys and, being with family, they can watch me around the TV.
So do you feel people are gonna underestimate you going forward? Now you're world ranked. Do you feel people try to find you as an easy fight just because your record? Even though,
I think I
yeah.
think people are a little more, what's the word? Not cautious, not hesitant. I don't want to say skeptical. I think they're kind of like, all right, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's more like they're a little bit more like, which Jonnie Rice are we gonna get? Was that a one and done? Was that like, is he gonna get better? So it's more of a wild card. That's what I'm looking for. It's like it's more of a wild card. I feel like that's the approach they're gonna take to me. It's gonna be more of a wild card approach. Like if we're desperate and we need somebody and we know we can pay him a lot of money, yeah, we'll do that. But it's gonna be a wild card, you know what I mean? So I'm very curious. My job, like I said, is to just reach my goal of losing 15 pounds, gaining muscle, and being ready to knock everybody out.
Mm. So obviously you fought a lot of up and coming prospects. What would you say your hardest fight is, and what boxer that you fought would you say is most likely to become world champion?
Whew. Oh man, that's tough, man. I fought some guys with some some great strengths. You know, like the Makhmadov fight. Obviously, he's a very powerful guy.
That must have been
Uh,
scary.
yeah, but I ain't fighting scared no more. So we'll see what happens from now on.
Mhm.
Oh man, I still got to go with probably Tony Yoka, who's a very versatile boxer who's actually, constantly working on different ways to fight. So, I mean, I would have to give it to him right now because he can probably do, he could probably do, when I say do, he can probably fight more than one way, which is how you become world champion. I feel like you got to be able to fight in more than one way. And that will probably be what I could say about him, especially watching his most recent fight. He was doing some incredible stuff in there that I definitely took away from that. You know what I mean? Like I definitely used some of what I saw in his last fight in that Michael Coffie fight. You know what I mean?
Mm. Tony
So as
Yoka.
far as I thought, yeah, yeah.
Tony Yoka right now, his name has been linked with Joyce a few times. Just because I've heard you spar Joyce, who do you think would win that fight if they fought?
Right now, Joe Joyce, from what I've seen, but again, Tony Yoka is very creative, so you can't really put creativity on paper. You know what I'm saying? But again, and the reason I'm kind of going towards Joe Joyce is just because Joe Joyce is real good at putting the pressure. Tony Yoka has a high punch count as well too. But if you don't like, you can't really. I see Tony Yoka's defense sometimes he'll put his hands up. You don't really want
Mm.
to put your hands up in front of Joe Joyce because he's going to punch through your guard. So it's like I believe that we're just looking at the fights right now. Joe Joyce got the edge, which is like a lot of people thought. Even in the Olympics, he kind of had the edge. But it's like,
Mm.
but Tony Yoka seems to me be very creative, which why but you can't measure the creativity. How creative he's going to be that night. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to be creative to fight Joe Joyce. He ain't going to be able to just really fight him straight up. So I think Tony Yoka does have that ability, but it's just going to come down to what he does in that ring. You know what I'm saying? So it's still like a toss up from the Olympics. It could have went either way. It could go either way now when they fight. You know what I mean?
Mm. Well, we're probably gonna wrap up in a minute, but I want to ask you something. Will the next time we see you, will it be the best Jonnie Rice we've ever seen?
Yeah, definitely be better than before. That's 100%. If I don't do that, then I fail myself first before I even fail y'all. And and I can't do that. You're gonna see just like this was the best Johnny Rice anybody's ever seen. I mean, can we agree with that?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, people were very shocked. People were very shocked. I mean, it was just like because you see my offense and my defense. Most times you saw my offense, I'm a sitting target, like here, try to pin and tell on a donkey. But now you're like, nah, bro, you're gonna see offense and defense all the time now.
Mm.
So it's just the beginning.
So before we wrap up, anything you want to say to your fans before we go?
I just want y'all to understand something. I'm not really a typical boxer. I was first a basketball player, well, a baseball player when I was a little kid, basketball player, football player. So I'm basically an athlete that's a super nice guy, super smart guy trying to fight because boxing chose me, y'all. I ain't choose the sport, but it chose me. So I got to give my all of my dedication to it. Please enjoy the journey. We're going to have a good time. I did not grow up in the gym. This sport chose me. I owe my life to it. That's why, I got money in my pocket, roof over my head. So I'm gonna keep giving myself to this sport and learning and growing and trying to show you guys, a different way of boxing right now.
Well, Johnny, you're a legend. I wish you the best in your future fights, and hopefully, if you win your next one, even if you lose, we'll get you back on here. Hopefully,
We gonna win, baby. We back.
we're
We
gonna
we
win.
just trying to take over. 10 years. I got 10 years to go in this sport, man. 2030. This is mine now.
44, 44, still going strong.
Yeah. Joe's form was 46. So like I said, I look at the blueprint. I look at the blueprint of other fighters, and I'm always studying right now.
Mm. Well, Johnny, thank you for giving me your time. It's been a pleasure to have
Absolutely.
you on here. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
as I said, hopefully we get you on here again soon.
Oh yeah, after my next win, we coming.
Cool. Anyway, bye, my friend. And thank
Bye.
you again.
You very